Whether it's an ancient dagger believed to trap evil spirits, a human skull transformed into the face of a god, or a list claiming kings once ruled for tens of thousands of years, there are a lot of discoveries made by archaeologists that are still hard to explain. Scientists have studied them, tested them, and presented plenty of theories, but some questions just haven't gone away. And the discoveries you're about to see today are among the most impossible ever found on Earth. So, let's begin with number 15. The million-year-old Kamchatka machine. According to everything we know about history, this thing shouldn't exist. We mean, 400 million years ago, there weren't humans around to make a hammer, let alone something resembling a machine. But a story from Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula claimed otherwise. In 2013, hikers found a strange formation about 150 miles from Tigil and alerted researchers. Inside the rock were said to be hundreds of small, toothed cylinders, arranged so closely that they looked like gears from a mechanical device. Archaeologist Yuri was quoted as claiming the formation had first been mistaken for volcanic remains until closer examination revealed metal components forming some kind of mechanism. Reports even claimed American geologists examined it and agreed it looked artificial. Then came the impossible number. The surrounding material was said to date back 400 million years. Some reports suggested the device had fallen into a prehistoric swamp and fossilized. But no published scientific study ever confirmed those claims, leaving this ancient machine caught somewhere between an impossible artifact and an odd internet mystery. Number 14. The Maya lightning scepter. The ancient Maya were pretty secretive people, and after the Spanish conquest, much of what they knew disappeared with destroyed books, abandoned cities, and broken traditions. That makes objects like this flint scepter especially fascinating. Maya craftsmen took brittle chert and chipped it into two elaborate human profiles, something requiring extraordinary control because a single bad strike could ruin the entire piece. But its shape was only part of the story. The Maya connected flint with lightning, believing the stone carried power from lightning striking the earth. On this scepter, the figures wear features associated with Kawil, their god of lightning, fire, and royal authority. Similar flints have turned up inside tombs and ceremonial offerings, sometimes painted before being buried. Others may have been mounted onto wooden staffs and carried as symbols of rulership. Were they sacred emblems, or did Maya priests believe these blades actually held something left behind by lightning? Their craftsmanship survives, but not answers. Number 13. Makunik. The dwarf city Makunik has always been surrounded by a weird story. For years, this remote Iranian village became known as the City of Dwarfs, mainly because many of its older houses are so tiny that an adult can barely stand upright inside them. Their doors are very low, the rooms are cramped, and some entrances rise only about a meter from the ground. That raised one question: who were these houses actually built for? Local tradition and early reports helped spread claims that unusually short people once occupied the settlement. Archaeologists offer a less mysterious explanation, suggesting poor nutrition may have affected the height of earlier inhabitants, while smaller homes were easier to heat and build with limited materials. But the village keeps giving the old story life. Back in 2005, reports even appeared of a tiny mummified body recovered nearby, although experts later disputed the dwarf claim. So Makunik leaves us somewhere between archaeology and folklore, with those miniature doorways still keeping the mystery alive. Number 12. The ritual dagger of Tibet. No matter which religion we look at, Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, or many older traditions, they all speak in some form about evil spirits or forces that can harm people. Tibetan Buddhism had its own way of confronting them, and one of its strangest ritual objects was the phurba. This three-sided dagger was never meant for an ordinary fight. Practitioners believed it embodied Vajrakila, a powerful Buddhist god lined with destroying spiritual obstacles and suppressing evil. During certain tantric ceremonies, the blade could be driven into a symbolic figure, almost as if the destructive force itself were being trapped and pinned down. The three edges also represented the defeat of ignorance, greed, and delusion, the poisons believed to stand between a person and enlightenment. Instructions for such rites appear in the Vajrakilaya Tantra, a tradition going back at least to the 8th century. One surviving Tibetan phurba, made from ebony centuries later, leaves us with a strange thought. To its users, this wasn't decoration, it was protection. Number 11. The Makapansgat pebble. If this strange-looking object really meant something to its owner, then it doesn't just disturb the history of art. It pushes human curiosity back millions of years. The Makapansgat pebble was found in South Africa's Makapan Valley during the 1920s, close to remains of Australopithecus africanus. The reddish stone is naturally shaped, so nobody carved that eerie face into it. Here's where things become fascinating. Its original source was several kilometers away, meaning some early human ancestor may have noticed it, picked it up, and carried it back roughly 3 million years ago. But why bother carrying an ordinary stone that far? Researchers suspect the answer is staring straight at us. The pebble resembles a face. Turn it around, and another face appears, one similar to an Australopith. Some researchers have even wondered whether it hints at early self-awareness, curiosity, or recognition of another being. We'll never know what its owner saw. But 3 million years ago, someone thought this little stone was worth keeping. Number 10. The Oyu stone circles. Why did ancient people build circles from stones? Did they know something about the sky that we've forgotten? The Oyu stone circles in northern Japan make that question worth asking. This site was found in 1931 and contains 2 enormous rings, with the Manza circle stretching 45 meters across. We mean, it's the largest of its kind in Japan. Its partner sits only about 300 feet away. Both were carefully assembled from thousands of river stones brought to the area between roughly 2000 and 1500 BC. But their arrangement is what makes them fascinating. Smaller formations inside the rings appear to line up with the summer solstice sunset, while other features have been linked to seasonal movements of the sun. Stone tools, ceremonial objects, and stone swords were also recovered here, suggesting this place meant far more than simply watching the seasons. Were these circles a calendar, a gathering place, or something holy? Number 9. The Andes copper mask. We know a lot about the moon, yet pieces of our own history can still appear after something as ordinary as a rainstorm. That's what happened in northwestern Argentina in 2005. Heavy rain washed away soil near Bordo Marcial, and local people came across a thin copper mask unlike anything previously recovered there. Measuring 7 by 6 inches, it had eyes, a nose, and a mouth, with small holes around its edges that may have helped secure it. Archaeologists later uncovered 14 human remains at the same burial area. One skeleton carried green copper staining, strong evidence that the mask had once rested alongside the dead. Dating placed it at around 3,000 years old, making it among South America's earliest deliberately shaped copper objects. That caused a problem for the old picture of Andean metalworking, which had largely emphasized origins farther north in Peru. This simple face suggested something else. People in Argentina may have developed metalworking independently. Well, who knows the truth? Number 8. The Caracis granite lions. Granite is the hardest stone to work with, and while we've seen ancient Egyptian craftsmen shape it beautifully, finding massive granite lions in Turkey brings a different mystery. Their story surfaced in 2001, when a local man from Caracis told researchers about unusual remains at a nearby quarry. There, they encountered a life-sized lion weighing around 5 tons, carved more than 3,000 years ago during the Hittite period. It originally had a companion, but treasure hunters destroyed that statue after believing something valuable might be sealed inside. Nothing was there. Another lion, apparently made by a different craftsman, was later identified northeast of the first, although its matching partner had vanished. Scholars have suggested these enormous animals may have guarded a monument or perhaps a sacred water source. But there's an issue. No major Hittite settlement from that period has been confirmed nearby. So why were several 5-ton granite lions being carved here, and where were they supposed to go? Number 7. The ancient tools of Revadim. The more we learn about ancient humans, the less primitive they seem. At Revadim in Israel, experts studied 49 flint tools from roughly 500,000 to 300,000 years ago and noticed something rather personal about them. These weren't newly made pieces. Each carried 2 different layers of patina, showing that someone had used the tool, left it behind long enough for its surface to change, and then another person picked it up much later. Here's what puzzled researchers. Fresh flint was readily available, but these people chose the older pieces and very carefully sharpened only a small section, leaving most of the original surface and earlier maker's marks untouched. Tel Aviv University researchers Ran Barkai and Bar Efrati believe this may have been deliberate. Perhaps the old tools carried memories of earlier people or important places. If so, collecting meaningful objects isn't a modern habit at all. 500,000 years ago, someone may have picked up another person's tool and decided it was simply too important to throw away. Number 6. The mysterious Algarve DNA egg. About 7,000 years ago, no one knew about genes, chromosomes, or the double helix. Or at least, that's what history tells us. But an egg-shaped stone associated with Portugal's Algarve carries a carving that looks strangely familiar today. Running across its surface is a twisting pattern that has been compared to DNA, whose famous structure wasn't established until 1953. Of course, resemblance isn't proof that its prehistoric maker understood genetics. The design may represent a staff, rope, plant, or another symbol entirely. But the choice of an egg makes the comparison difficult to ignore. Across old cultures, eggs became symbols of fertility, birth, and new life. Put a helix-like mark across one, and our modern eyes naturally see something far more remarkable. The code of life placed upon a symbol of life. Maybe that connection is nothing more than coincidence. Maybe we're reading modern knowledge into an ancient pattern. Either way, one question keeps following this little stone. What did its maker actually mean to show? Number 5. The mysterious sand beneath Assur's Ishtar Temple. Back in 2026, archaeologists revealed something beneath Iraq's ancient Ishtar Temple that no one had paid much attention to before: sand. That sounds ordinary until we learn where it came from. Researchers drilled below the temple's earliest floor at Assur and reached a thick, clean layer deliberately laid there nearly 5,000 years ago. There was no pottery or everyday rubbish mixed through it. Mineral tests then produced the real surprise. Rather than taking sand from the Tigris flowing beside Assur, the builders apparently brought material connected to geological formations toward the Zagros region, tens of kilometers away. It even contained uncommon minerals, including glaucophane and lawsonite. Charcoal above the deposit dated to roughly 2896-2702 BCE, suggesting the sanctuary's beginnings were earlier than previously thought. Stranger still, comparable foundations weren't identified beneath Assur's temples of Sin, Shamash, or Anu. Why Ishtar alone required specially selected sand is still an uncracked puzzle. Number 4. The strange coffins of Arthur's Seat. A rabbit hunt shouldn't end with 17 miniature coffins. But that's what happened in Edinburgh in 1836, when a group of boys searching around Arthur's Seat came across a small opening in the rock. Inside sat 17 tiny wooden caskets, arranged in rows, and every one contained a carved human figure dressed with scraps of clothing. Whoever put them there had gone to considerable trouble. The pine coffins were individually shaped, fitted with lids, and placed together rather than simply thrown away. Newspapers quickly connected them with witchcraft, but nobody could explain the purpose. Later came an even darker idea. Edinburgh murderers William Burke and William Hare had supplied bodies for anatomical dissection only a few years earlier, and their infamous killing spree involved 17 victims. Could each coffin have represented one of the dead? It's tempting, although there's no evidence proving the connection. 9 coffins eventually disappeared. 8 survive in National Museum, Scotland. Number 3. Mangaka power figure. When it comes to Africa, what comes to mind? Wildlife, ancient kingdoms, perhaps stories of rituals and magic. But in the Congo, some communities once trusted objects believed to carry mystical force. Mangaka, made around 1880 to 1900 by a Yombe Congo sculptor and ritual specialist, was one of the most powerful. This wasn't simply a frightening wooden figure covered with iron. A ritual specialist placed medicinal substances inside its abdominal cavity, believed to awaken the force housed within. Each piece of metal hammered into its body could mark something serious: a vow, treaty, dispute, or attempt to punish wrongdoing and drive away evil. Its forward-leaning stance, hands firmly on its hips, was deliberately threatening, while its impu headdress connected it with chiefs and religious authority. Even traces of a beard represented age and seniority. Mangaka served almost like a supernatural judge, witness, enforcer, and warning. Breaking an agreement made before it, people believed consequences could follow. Number 2. Princess Iset statue, Egypt, has given archaeologists enough mysteries for several lifetimes, but what appeared at Luxor in 2014 was unusual even by Egyptian standards. Excavators working at Amenhotep III's enormous funerary complex uncovered a 6.5-foot statue of his daughter, Princess Iset. Egyptian royalty was carved everywhere, so finding another princess shouldn't sound super strange. Except Iset had never been found like this before. Every known representation showed her beside members of her family. Here, she appeared alone. The sculpture once stood between the legs of a colossal statue of Amenhotep III, part of a monument estimated to have towered around 46 feet high. Only fragments survived, leaving archaeologists to reconstruct what the complete scene originally meant. Iset became especially important after her father married her during his reign, giving her the title of Great Royal Wife. Why she received such otherworldly prominence in this monument is uncertain. So, do you have any idea about it? Number 1. The Orion calendar of Croatia. Well, no one digging a bomb shelter in Croatia during the late 1970s expected a smashed clay pot to have anything to do with the stars. The pieces came from Vinkovci and carried rows of odd markings that didn't mean much at the time. Years later, those marks were studied more closely and connected with the Vuchedol people, who lived there roughly 4,600 years ago. The surprising part was Orion. Researchers argued that the markings followed the constellation's yearly cycle, including the period when Orion disappeared from view and later returned. For the Vuchedol, that return may have helped signal a new year around spring. And that changes the way we look at this battered piece of pottery. Someone had to watch Orion repeatedly, notice when it vanished, remember when it returned, and turn that pattern into a way of counting time. We usually associate calendars with writing and numbers. These people may have had another clock altogether, the night sky above them. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.